Good morning, Dylan. Here's your machine, the Gaggia Classic Pro. As you saw in the photos, and obviously as you've seen in the video, it's in very good condition. The machine is in excellent condition on the outside. Obviously, it is a used machine, so you might see the occasional scratch, mainly on a bit on top, and the steam wand has signs of use. But other than that, like the body panels are immaculate, no rust, and even the drip tray sticker is still on. So this is a metal grill here on the drip tray. It still has that plastic sticker you can take off. And yeah, the machine works perfectly. In this video, I'm just going to quickly make a coffee, actually just an espresso, not a full cappuccino or latte, just to show you how to use the machine and confirm that it's all well. So being a single boiler machine, it is fairly quick to turn on. So when you turn it on, around 3 to 5 minutes, it'll be ready to go. This button means that there's power to the machine. So this is the power button, and the light means that there's power going to the machine. I think this button means that the boiler is on and heating, and this button is for the steam, so I think it will go off when steam is ready to go. Now, sorry, I have to repeat, the button means that the coffee is ready to go, the coffee boiler. So when it's up to temperature and ready to make a coffee, it'll be on, and when it's not ready, it'll turn off. So I'll just grab the portafilter. Now the machine comes with the box and all the other accessories, so obviously the portafilter, the double basket, the single basket, and also a pressurized double basket. So the double basket is for your freshly ground coffee. Let me just close this port. The double basket is for freshly roasted coffee. And if you're using pre-ground coffee or decaf coffee, you can use the pressurized baskets. Those ones will make it easier to make a coffee. When you press this button, it will start heating to steam temperature. When you press this button, it will start making a coffee. Very simple machine. It's a manual espresso maker, so very easy to use. The only things that I will say, you always want to make sure that the machine has enough water in the boiler. So it'll pretty much always have water in the boiler, but the only time that the water depletes is when you're steaming. When you're steaming, the water will boil and steam will come out, but the machine doesn't autofill. So you'll need to, after steaming, you'll need to refill the boiler. So very easy to refill the boiler, just run some hot water. Very, very simple. If you use steam for too long, so for more than say 2 minutes, usually you can get a coffee steamed, you can get one quantity of milk steamed in about 30 to 60 seconds, very quick. So you'll never need to use it for more than 2 minutes unless you're doing like 3-4 cups in a row, which this machine isn't really designed for. But yeah, if you're steaming for more than 2-3 minutes, I would recommend refilling the boiler and letting the machine heat up again, because it cannot really steam for more than 2 minutes, according to what I've read online. So yeah, you want to make sure not to burn the boiler by running the steam for too long, or by letting it stay in the steam mode for too long, because it can overheat if you leave it on at the 130, 140 degrees forever. It's not designed for that. You can leave it on in coffee mode, which is about 90 degrees. You can leave it on coffee mode for hours and hours. That's not a problem. As long as there's water in the boiler, the machine is happy. Right, so without any blabbering, I just had to get that out of the way, because it is like a manual coffee machine. You have to know how to use it. With that out of the way, let's just show you what I do when I make a coffee on the Gaggia Classic Pro. After you turn it on, you see the button come on. That means it's ready to make a coffee. Just heat up your cup by running a blank shot. So no coffee in the handle, obviously. In my cup underneath the spouts. Just gonna turn it on until my cup is full of hot water. This is gonna preheat. Oof, very hot. This is gonna preheat the cup. It's gonna preheat my portafilter. It's gonna preheat my group head, and just makes the machine ready to go. If you don't want to run a blank shot, you can just leave it on for 20-30 minutes. Those components will be nice and hot by the end of that period. Now the top plate is metal. You can leave your cups over here. You can fit, I think, around 2 or 3 cups, depending on the size, up here, and it'll warm them up passively. So over 30 minutes, heat from the boiler will go through the metal plate into your cups, and making sure you get a good coffee with those hot cups. If you don't do any of those, so if you turn on the machine, make a coffee straight away once the boiler is up to temperature, what will happen is your portafilter will be cold, your cup will be cold, and your grip head will be cold. So all these three will sap the heat out of your hot water, and you're just going to get either a cold coffee at best, and at worst, you get a really sour shot, because low temperatures will lead to sourness. Okay, yeah, so after doing that, running a blank shot, I've warmed up my machine and I've ensured that my boiler is full. You don't want to turn on the machine and not be sure that the boiler is full. So you just want to run a blank shot the moment you turn on the machine. I've already done that before the video, but I'm doing it again through the video, in the video, just to show you how it's done. Next, you want to take out the portafilter. This is, like I said, the double basket. This will take about 18 grams of ground coffee. So I'm going to use my scale to confirm the quantity going in. Over time, I guess you can just not use the scale. You don't have to use it every single day, but it's recommended just to get consistent results, to put in exactly the quantity that the machine asks for, and stop the machine when you have the exact quantity you're after. So just quickly going to coffee recipes, you want to follow a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every gram of ground coffee you put into the portafilter, you want to get 2 grams out. So we put in about 18 grams. We want to get 36 grams out. Doesn't have to be to the dot, doesn't have to be exactly 36. If it's a few grams, give or take, it should be fine. But yeah, all this is just to ensure you get a good tasting shot. So do whatever makes you achieve that. In my case, I've found the most easiest way to begin experimenting with coffee is just to follow that 2-to-1 ratio, making sure that it happens in around 30 seconds from the bottom press. So you don't want to get the 36 grams out in 5 seconds. That's way too quick. The shot will be sour if it's too quick. You don't want the shot to take a minute. That shot will be over extracted, very bitter. So you want it to be in the middle, 30 seconds. So just to summarize, you want to get 36 grams for a double shot in 30 seconds, approximately. If your shot is running too quick, either your quantity is too little, your grind size is too large, or your coffee is stale. Conversely, if your coffee is very, very slow and it's coming out in drips, like slow dripping, drop by drop, that means your coffee either is too finely ground, or you've packed the portafilter too much, compressing that coffee. So we don't want to do that either. So we want it to be a happy medium. Right, got my scale reset. I'm going to use my grinder here, the Eureka Special Leader. I use it with my Breville dual boiler machine, and it's set at grind size 1 or so, and I've been getting good shots at that grind size, so it should be good here as well. Unless something is different about the basket, it should be very similar to my Breville. So now my grinder dose is about 22 grams because my basket is about 22 grams on the Breville. So that's what we get here. So I'm going to trim a little bit. I should have limited the timer on the grinder before over grinding, but that's fine. It's 19 grams, just a little bit more, and should be at 18 grams right about there. 18 and a half. Just have to be patient. Okay. Perfect. 18.2 should be fine. So I'm going to distribute the grounds with my finger just to make sure I start off with an even surface before I press it down. And then I'm going to grab the tamper, which is, where did I put the tamper? Oh, right there. So they include a plastic tamper with the machine. It's recommended you upgrade this if you can, but this will get you going, I guess, for the first few days. You can get a 58mm metal tamper. It'll do you great. So just distribute the coffee nice and evenly and then press. You want to apply even pressure all throughout. You want it to be flat and not sort of like, not wonky or at an angle. For some reason they decided to make this size here a bit smaller than the actual diameter. So you have to go around it, make sure everything is compacted. And I've finished, so just to double check it, still the same mess. This is what it looks like, about a centimeter from the edge, which is the perfect height, I think. Yeah, this will become easier over time. And you probably won't need to use the scale every single time once you have the grinder set in to the correct settings and using the same beans and the same workflow. So what I'm going to do, you can rinse it one more time. Not a bad idea to rinse. Not only does it heat up the grip head and clean the machine, it also gets rid of the like the oils and the coffee grounds. So just there, and then just in the middle should be fine there. You don't over force it. You might, I don't know, break the handle or compact the coffee too much if you go way too far to the right. Sorry, my cat just wants some food, so please ignore the noise in the background. I'm gonna reset my scale to my empty shot glass, and then I'm gonna time it as well. Cool. You can do what they call a pre-infusion phase, so turn on the pump for a second, turn it off, just to wet that coffee surface, make sure that it's all expanded and bloomed before you go full pressure on the pump. So I'm gonna do that, so just a second. Looks good. Very nice, smooth flow from the spouts, both of them. Looks like we're getting a good crema. I'm using the, what was it? The Aldi brand of beans. Very good, I really recommend that. So we're at 30 seconds now. That's exactly 30 seconds from the first button press. And I think we're getting closer to 30 grams here, maybe 35. I just have to double check. That's exactly 30 seconds. Wow, okay. So I could have run it for another second or two to get closer to 36 grams. But that's fine. This is what the shot is like. You can increase the grind size to make it go a little bit quicker. It was a touch too slow, but that's fine. If you're not too fussed about numbers and signs, this is probably a good tasting shot. Now I'm just gonna give it a taste. I usually don't have espresso straight like that. More of a latte guy, to be honest. But this looks like a good shot. Make sure to mix it up. If you're having the coffee straight away like that, mix it up so that the crema dissolves all throughout. Otherwise the crema will just be bitter for you. Oh yeah, very nice. Maybe there's a little bit of bitterness because it was a touch too slow, like I said. That's a good shot. Add some sugar, some milk, and you have a latte. So after doing that, you want to clean the machine, take out the portafilter, knock the coffee into a knock box, and then give it a rinse. So I like to rinse using the machine's group head. That way I'm rinsing the group head and the portafilter in one go. Only drawback being is that it'll use power, obviously, to pump and heat water as you clean, and the drip tray will get full sooner than later if you rinse this way. But I like to do it anyway. It's just a bit of peace of mind that I'm cleaning both at the same time. It saves a bit of time going back and forth to the sink, cleaning two different components separately. So grab a tissue. If you're making another coffee, you want to dry this portafilter and grind again, obviously. Otherwise, you can just store it on the machine. So it's also good to clean the grip head. As you see, there's always going to be a bit of coffee grounds and oils stuck up there. So grab a tissue. You can, for environmental sake, use the same tissue. Just flip it over. That's it. Now, if I'm storing the machine overnight, what I like to do, just very lightly, lock it in. So I'm just not used to the angle. Lock it in like that. So you don't have to go too tight. You don't want to press on the rubber seal if you don't have to. So just a little bit, just enough. So that the next morning when you turn it on, the machine will heat up both the group head and the portafilter as you wait for the machine to warm up. Now just quickly showing you steaming, making sure that my phone is still recording, cool. So steaming, turn on the steam button. Like you said, if you're not sure that the boiler is full, just run some hot water. If it goes through the portafilter, great, then you've got water in the boiler. You can see water coming out of the spout. Turn on the steam, give it a minute. Usually takes about a minute to reach temperature. You'll see the button come, sorry, you'll see the light come on when the boiler is ready to go. I guess you can, in the meantime, grab your milk jug, fill it with some nice cold milk. That's the best milk to use. Cold milk will steam better than warm or room temperature milk. I usually use full cream cow's milk. That's just what I'm used to. There we go, ready to steam. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab one of my cups just to show you the steam pressure. You don't want to steam on the countertop. So when you first open the valve, you'll get a bit of water, maybe a burst of pressure as well, which is because everything is built up and you've got water in the wand itself as well. So you want to purge the first part always. You can try purging onto the tray itself. That might just be a bit too messy. So I usually just purge into a cup or an empty milk jug if I have one. Just purge it for a second. You see, we get a lot of water when you first purge, and then just pure steam. And it's very instant, very fast when you turn on the tap. So you have to practice the technique. So fortunately, a YouTube video like this won't help you steaming unless you have milk and the machine in your hands. You won't be learning too well. But it's good to watch YouTube videos and tutorials on how to steam. That's how I learn as well, in conjunction with an actual coffee machine. The wand will get hot, obviously it's metal, so you have the rubber handle to move around. So yeah, essentially just dunk the wand, turn on the steam, spin the milk, and then bring the wand close to the surface of the milk, and keep spinning it. The more you steam close to the surface, the more air you'll get in the milk, essentially. But you'll get it right. Even to this day, to be honest, I don't get it right all the time. I just steam and just drink whatever. I don't usually make latte art. But I try sometimes, and it works. So yeah, once you're done, you want to turn off the steam button. That means the machine is back to coffee mode. You'll see the button on, meaning that it's up to temperature. That's sort of a bit of a lie or a misnomer. It's much hotter than coffee temperature. So steaming temperature is 130, coffee temperature is about 90. So at the moment it's way above 90. So it'll tell you that it's not heating. That's why the button is on. But it doesn't mean that it's at the coffee temperature. So what you want to do, if you're making another coffee or if you're just finishing with your steaming session, you want to do this always. Let the machine cool down by running another blank shot. So this is going to cool down the boiler and refill the boiler, because remember, steaming will use up water and the machine will not autofill the boiler unless you run a blank shot and fill it. So you'll get a lot of steam and hot water, really hot water coming out of the spout, so be careful not to burn yourself. So have your cup ready, make sure that the tank is full. You can see there's a transparent window from the side and obviously from the front. Just turn it on until you stop seeing steam coming out and just water. So probably 5-10 seconds. There we go, that's it. This is essentially at 90 degrees or close to 90 degrees. So we're no longer getting steam, just hot water, really hot water. And that's a good sign. So now the machine is ready to make another coffee, or you can turn it off. Up to you. That's the Gaggia Classic. I hope you enjoy. I think it'll last you years and years. This is a very, very well built machine. Yes, it's a bit harder to use than other machines, but it's really rewarding once you get it right. Always make sure to keep the water tank topped up. You can see from here that it's close to finishing. You can fill it from the top, fill here. That's how I would fill it. But you can also take this out, take this out as well. Move this out of the way, and you can actually refill the tank itself. Maybe that's quicker for you, or maybe you want to clean the tank. That's how you can do it. This is the discharge pipe. This will remove all the pressure from the portafilter after the shot and drain all the dirty pressurized water into the tray. So you don't want to lose that, otherwise it'll be a really messy machine to use. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. Hope you enjoy. If you have any questions about the Gaggia Classic Pro or coffee in general, please don't hesitate. And I'll see you later today. Thanks.